The religious are absurdly ignorant, and sadly, they insist on proving it day after day on YouTube. Why? I don't know. For some reason, they're proud of it, just like the slimy anti-Semites that spend their time commenting on my videos over on BitChute. You'd think that they would learn to keep their mouths shut, but nope. They just like making fools of themselves. And that is not a good thing. Let's finish off with Luca and his obvious cold today, because seriously, how can you make a more disgusting video? I don't know, but let's not try, okay? Because these people are ignorant and proud of it, and that's not something that you ought to do. Granted, the religious don't care because, fifis and being stupid is hardly the way to go, but you'll never convince them of that, will ya? So, back into the pit we go. Watch your step.
I mean, well, yeah. As an religious person, I do agree. You shouldn't do those things. But why on atheism? Why shouldn't you do that?
So we're just picking up from where we left off last time. It'll all make sense in the supercut, I promise. But here's my answer: you shouldn't murder people. Because if you murder people, you'll get picked up by the police and thrown into a 6x8 prison cell for the rest of your fucking life. If you don't want that, then don't murder people. It's really not that hard to understand. But see, the religious are looking for a bigger reason, and there really isn't one, is there? If you're going to live on this planet, then you're going to have to cooperate with other people. We are a social species after all. If you do things that society doesn't want you to do, then you will suffer the consequences thereof. Welcome to reality. Learn to deal.
If you want to do that, why not? And I mean, if you say like, well, other people don't like, society doesn't work. Well, why should I respect these things? I'm born on this planet.
Seriously, stop it. You're just making yourself look like an idiot. I mean, sure, there are times that I will make videos when I'm sick. You don't really have much of a choice, and that's just the way it goes, but at least I cut all of that out. I mean, seriously, just stop already. Anyhow, what was he saying? Something about respecting society? Well, you really don't have a choice, because there's more of them than there are of you. I'm sorry that hurts your feelings, but they can impose their wishes on you if they want, and there isn't a damn thing you can do about it. This is another problem that the religious seem to have. They don't like it if other people tell you what to do, but their imaginary friend in the sky? Oh, sure, he gets to tell you what to do all the time, right? That's just not how this works.
No morals, there just are facts.
And depending on how you look at it, morals are facts. I mean, not objective facts, but facts of the world in which you live. There is a speed limit. I can either drive that speed limit or I can suffer the potential consequences thereof. That's just a fact. It doesn't matter if you like it or not, it's still a fact. Those laws are still on the books. Learn to deal. That's why sovereign citizens fail all the time, because they can't deal with those facts. And they don't care. Which is why the judges laugh at their asses every time they get into court. Of course, all of this is about emotional comfort, not actual reality. Luca doesn't care, and I've seen him getting trashed end to end online. And in fact, that's probably why he took his video down. It's private now, so this guy figured out how badly he fucked up, but I don't think he really cares. His own comments are stuffed full of atheists telling him what a complete idiot he is, because he is. Maybe he should do something about that. What do you think?
Why wouldn't I do that if I wanted to do that? And better yet, if there's no free will, because on atheism there's no free will, you can't even blame me for it.
Of course, there's free will, depending on how you define it. I've got no patience for anyone who says there is no free will either. Let me punch you in the face. It's not like you can blame me, right? Because I had no choice in the matter, and your face didn't either. It was destined to get punched, right? Those people strike me a lot like the hard solipsists, and that's just dumb. So Luca doesn't know anything. He is ignorant of the entirety of reality. And that's not exactly a good thing, is it?
If I go on and do all these heinous acts, you can't even blame me on atheism. Because on atheism, you would say that I don't have free will. So, everything I did was determined already. My brain chemistry forced me to do what I did.
I could just call him an idiot again, but seriously, I could have just done that 10 seconds into the video, and we could have all saved some time. However, he is really kind of pathetic, isn't he? He doesn't understand anything. He really strikes me as someone who has never actually talked to an atheist. He's just going on and on and on about the stuff that people on his side tell him about atheists without ever having any direct experience themselves. This is something that happens a lot with the religious, and to be fair, with a lot of people, religious and otherwise. They are stuck in their own stupid echo chambers where they only talk to others who are just like they are and pretend that somehow they actually know something about external reality. And they don't. They just don't. But you try to reason with these people and you just walk away frustrated because they can't change their minds because they don't care about the truth. Maybe that's why I'm not spending as much time talking to the religious these days, because I know it's all just a waste of time. They will never intelligently consider anything that I have to say because they don't wanna. In fact, I just had one of those conversations over the weekend where I said something. The religious said, "Well, you're just saying this." And I was saying exactly the opposite. I tried to correct them, and they didn't care. "No, you said this." But I didn't. Go back and look. But they won't do that, will they? Because they don't care. So I just walked away because it was all a complete waste of my time. I suspect Luca is in that camp. How about you?
So you can't even blame me about it.
Sure I can, because you're full of shit. Then again, these people are just living in an emotionally comforting happy land in their heads. This is exactly why they don't want to talk to us. They are only making videos for each other so they can keep their ignorance in the family. These people don't actually know anything. Which is why when I look down into the comments and the very few places that Luca actually responded to anyone, and I'll give him credit for doing that because most theists don't bother, but he just doubled down on his own stupidity. Gross ignorance is not something to be proud of. So why are the religious always so proud of it? I don't know, you tell me.
And finally, the third thing is the argument that I would make, and that is basically it ties into the free will thing.
Which we've already covered. Now, I don't know if he's got something new, so I guess we'll listen to it, but this entire video has been a load of irrational ignorance strung end to end. He doesn't know what atheism is. He doesn't know what atheists think because he's never actually talked to an atheist. And where he has talked to them, or at least responded to them down in the comments, he spends all of his time telling them that they're wrong. You don't really think what you say you think because that would mean all of my convenient rationalizations were false, and I refuse to believe that. So this guy is just a moron. I'm still waiting to find a theist that isn't. Do you know of any? Let me know down in the comments because they all act like this, don't they? They aren't remotely interested in reality. In fact, they're terrified of it. So why are we bothering to engage with these idiots? They've got something seriously wrong with themselves upstairs. I can come up with no other explanations, can you? So let's get back to his third thing that proves what an ignorant doofus he is. Because that sounds like fun, right?
So if atheism is true, then we don't have free will. And Determinism, so basically the position that we don't have free will, is self-contradictory.
Since he's still wrong on all counts, I really don't know how worthwhile this is, but he's still got about a minute of video left, so why the hell not? Being this ignorant about absolutely everything is not a good look, is it? So we already know he has no clue what atheism is. He doesn't know what atheists think, nor does he care. He's just wrapping his ignorance up in a nice, neat little bow, and he doesn't care what's actually going on, or he would actually take what he's being told in the comments on his own videos to heart and maybe, learn something. But that's not going to happen, is it? Because who knows better what atheists think than actual atheists? Nope, Luca knows better because he's not after truth, he's after comfort. Therefore, constantly lying to himself and everybody else and making himself look stupid, that's really all he's after. But can't we say the same thing for the vast majority of theists? It's either a con or a cope. Neither one is anything to be proud of. So, back to the dumb already in progress.
A self-contradictory position cannot be true, and therefore atheism is false.
First off, atheism isn't a position. It makes no claims whatsoever. Not that he cares about that or anything, and I'm just pointing it out for the people in the audience. Atheism is just, I don't believe you. Luca is an idiot. Secondly, he's just strapping straw men onto his ignorant definitions because that's what he really wants to be true. Not what is actually true, since he doesn't care about that at all. He's proven that one clearly already. So he's starting from a position of abject ignorance, and he's just filling in all the blanks with, it makes me feel good, so he can continue believing the ridiculous bullshit that he already believes, because fifis. Seriously, what the hell is wrong with these people? Because something clearly is.
So for example, if I'm debating an atheist on free will, well, they're gonna actually have to assume free will to come even debate me.
That's because the overwhelming majority of atheists have no problem whatsoever with free will. This is just, because I already believe a thing, that thing has to be true, and that proves that anyone who disagrees with me is wrong because I just have to be right. The idea that he's ever debated an atheist is laughable. He's too busy hiding in his room, probably with his parents on the other side of the door. He's terrified of the real world. Because if he actually got out there and examined it rationally, he couldn't come to the emotionally comforting ideas that he has. Reality is where religion goes to die. That's why we don't see the religious posting intelligent discussions with the non-religious online. Because they never have those conversations. Oh, they pretend to, but in reality, it's just preaching to the choir and being laughed at by everyone else. That's pretty much all we ever see on YouTube, right? I mean, over the weekend, my wife and I went to AAA to do some car registration stuff, and when we came out, there was, I kid you not, some idiot trying to convert somebody else in the parking lot. I mean, it's the first time I saw that in years in public. It's like the apologist took one of those crappy online courses and they were just trying desperately to convert the other guy, but the other guy, and look, I don't know anything about any of this. I only saw it for a few seconds as we walked past and got in the car, but that guy was destroying every single point that the apologist made, and the apologist was just moving on to the next scripted point without responding because they don't care what's actually true. It's like these people don't understand how conversations work. Because they don't.
They're gonna have to assume the free will to analyze evidence, to analyze arguments, and to come to intellectual truth. But that doesn't exist on determinism.
Which is just your straw man. Now, granted, he might just be ignorant. I mean, what am I talking about? Of course he's ignorant, but people have tried to correct him over and over and over again, and he just doubles down on his own stupidity. This is like so many other theists that we've done because they're just ignorant on purpose. They're not interested in the actual facts. They are not going to change their minds no matter how wrong they are. They just really want to believe, and if they have to make crap up in their heads to maintain their incredulity, so be it. Therefore, I can't really blame this guy for anything but his own abject stupidity, because the religious almost all do it. And that's not a good thing. But it's not like he really is much worse than anybody else, is he? He's just making a video and posting it on YouTube, and this will be a lasting monument to his own ignorance, or at least it would if he didn't cut bait and run and make it private, because he's a complete chicken shit. And I was actually thinking about this a while back and wondering if he'll eventually take it down, because at least some of them do it when they get embarrassed. But I guess he did, right?
You don't arrive at conclusions because of your intellect and your thinking. You arrive at conclusions because the brain chemistry determined you to arrive at those conclusions.
Well, you actually do arrive at rational conclusions through intellect and a rational evaluation of the evidence. And then you've got religious idiots like Luca here who are programmed from birth to believe dumb shit and are brainwashed into never giving it up because, childish fifis. Granted, I've got no idea what his personal story is, nor do I really care, but we know that's how it works for the vast majority of theists, and very few of them are able to reject the dumb down the road, at least not if they take it very seriously. Religion is falling apart these days, and that's why I am firmly convinced that most theists were never really religious to begin with. They didn't really believe. They just wore it like a coat so that they'd look better to the people around them. Because we know that most theists do not act like they really believe it, right? Church attendance is at an all-time low. Most of them have never even read the Bible or whatever religious book of the day they prefer, and therefore, I think most of it is just for show. Granted, we don't know that for sure, but it's sure looking to me like it's a sham. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below.
And your debates aren't going to intellectually affect people's minds. The only thing that there is are the brain chemicals that were already determined to act in the way that they act.
He's really doubling down on his poisoning of the well, isn't he? Granted, that would assume that he actually knows the truth, which I think we can all agree otherwise. He's just stupid. He really believes what he's professing on screen, and that's where he's going wrong. Yet, in the modern world, people don't have an excuse to be that dumb, do they? With all of the world's knowledge at your fingertips, you ought to be better than this. Then again, far too many people just embrace the echo chamber of the ideology that they like, and rarely, if ever, do they go outside, and when they do, they just make fools of themselves, just like Luca is doing, because they really, really want to believe it. Here are all the people who told me all the things that I believe are true, so there. Do they stand up to any kind of critical evaluation? Do you have any evidence for any of it? Do you even care? Well, no, of course not. Why would anybody want to do that? Yeah, why not indeed? Okay, sorry, last time I promise. This is why I keep asking if these people even watch their own videos before they upload them, because this kind of thing is rampant, not just from the religious, but from tons of people. Seriously, quality control. Give it a shot. He should have watched this video and cut out all of his snorts and sniffles and whatever else. It honestly isn't that hard. What the hell is wrong with these people anyhow?
It's a self-contradictory position. But this video was just sharing my thoughts, and if you're interested in philosophy, you're interested in self-improvement, then subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you tomorrow.
Yeah, no. Luca is one of those theists that I have no interest whatsoever in ever revisiting, if his channel remains up, which, I don't know, I haven't gone to look yet. Have you? Granted, if you have something that he's done that you really want to see a response to, let me know and I'll think about it. But this was just painfully stupid and not remotely self-reflective, because I think these people are largely incapable. They believe what they want to believe because that's what they've been brainwashed into, and they're not able to examine any of their beliefs critically, nor do they care. And then they put this nonsense on YouTube or TikTok or wherever for all the world to see, and they're positively shocked when everybody makes fun of them. Sorry, but you shouldn't be surprised by that. This is what you've done to yourself. This is what you look like to people on the outside. And I'm saying that a lot more often to theists who might watch my videos, because people like Luca, they don't look good to anyone. At least they shouldn't. This is an example of what not to do. Yet the religious, they don't tend to care, do they? Or at least we don't tend to hear from them much, because the people who look at Luca and cringe, those people tend to slowly slink away and hide. Maybe that's how we get them to start reconsidering their nonsense. Embarrass them, insult them. Being socially ostracized is a thing. Now, the lunatics, they're just going to crawl back into their echo chambers and pretend to be victims, but you can't reason with those people anyhow, so it's really not much of a loss. Religion will continue to die, and that's a very good thing. The people who actually care how they look to others, there might be a shot with them. So let's give it a shot and laugh at these fucktards, because they really deserve it, don't they?